very special episode because I am here with my good friend Ash. Say hello, Ash.
Hi, hello.
Is it Ash or Ashley? What do you prefer?
Either's good with me.
Okay, cool. Well, we'll go with Ash because it will shave seconds off the podcast.
Oh, yes.
And we're here to talk about Star Trek Discovery, which is the latest iteration in the Star Trek canon series universe, I suppose, is what we want to call it. And we've just watched the first 2 episodes, available now on Netflix. So, literally just finished watching within like the last 5-10 minutes. You're a huge Star Trek nerd, the same as me.
I am indeed, yes.
And we can call ourselves nerds.
Yeah.
I think that's you're allowed to if you like Star Trek.
We're allowed to do that.
Yeah. So, what did you think? In like just in general, and then we'll delve deep into the series. What are your immediate thoughts about it?
So, if I were to strip away the Star Trek fan in me, I think it looks really good so far. The production level is just amazing so far.
It looks really good, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's on another level.
Yeah,
it is.
And I think maybe that might be because it's HD.
Mm-hmm.
And it's bright and it's colourful.
Yeah.
And it's the production design is exceptional.
Yeah, definitely so. I mean, from a character perspective, they're doing very well. I mean, 2 episodes in, you can't really decide where you lie with people, but it's going well. It
was a little odd, wasn't it? I mean, it was because it was more. I suppose this is kind of like a sign of how TV shows are now. Is that it wasn't your classic Star Trek opener.
No.
So it wasn't like this is the crew, this is a situation. It was no encounter at Farpoint.
No, certainly not.
And it kind of ended on a bit of a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
We still haven't seen the namesake Discovery either. There's no Star Trek. There's no Starship Discovery yet. No.
I mean, it's all to come in the forthcoming episodes. But as you say, there's nothing to indicate where the namesake comes from. That it could be revealed.
No, that's true. I mean, I'm pretty sure they are going to have a Star Trek. I'm just on the Wikipedia page now. Yeah, it says following. It says Discovery explores the Federation Klingon War while following the crew of the USS Discovery. But we haven't seen...
No.
And we haven't seen Jason Isaacs' character, who's going to be the captain of the Discovery, either.
Yes.
We kind of just followed... It was like a film, almost. The first 2 episodes.
Yes. Yeah, I mean... I think you alluded to it quite well. It feels very close to the current film genre of the Star Trek universe, canon, as you will. Film's a good describing word there.
But I mean, like, what? Okay, so let's talk about where it fits in Star Trek, because we both know our Star Trek. We're both very happy with our Star Trek. So, what did we feel to how? Because it wasn't. It wasn't. We were talking when it was on. It's set apparently around 10 years before Kirk. That's the idea. Set in the original timeline, not the J.J. Abrams timeline.
No.
So it didn't. I mean, it doesn't look like it's set 10 years before Kirk, does it?
No. I had very similar issues with another Star Trek series that felt the same way.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like 10 years later Kirk's.
But at least with like Enterprise, we had them in jumpsuits and we had push buttons and stuff. With this, we've got, as you pointed out, we got force fields.
Yeah.
We got heads up displays on EVA suits.
Yeah.
We've got a computer that has.
It feels very much like the computer on the Enterprise, not the original Enterprise. It feels like it's next generation level plus.
Yeah.
In terms of technology.
Yeah, it would have quite happily fitted in like after Voyager timeline or after could have been 100 years like after the what we know is like the generation DS9 Voyager timeline.
Yep, definitely.
It was just it just felt a bit odd, but not bad.
No, they had a good mix. So obviously the technology was all far forward, but all the sounds, all the feel still felt very original series, which I quite like that.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned like it was nice that they had the transporter sounds with the original ones.
Yeah,
I don't know if you noticed, but a lot of the ambient sound when they were on the bridge was very, you know, like you had the whistles and the chirps and stuff, which was nice.
A lot of the comm badge noises were still the same.
Yeah.
So that worked. I quite
and they had the flip communicators and they had the pistol phasers, which was good.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was. I just don't know how I feel about this whole setting it 10 years before.
Yeah. And I'm not sure. I did very little. I wouldn't say research, but I wanted to be as fresh of an opinion on it as I could be. So, So I did no sort of digging into it. At most, all I got was the soundtrack to the theme tune prior to watching the first episode. But I get this feeling that it's either going to be spot on with a couple of issues, or it's going to get a couple of us Star Trek diehards a little bit ruffled.
It's I mean, I suppose I tell you what talking about being ruffled. What really got me was the Klingons.
Yes.
I'm really not sure how I feel or think about these Klingons, because so I was reading some kind of not spoilers, but some kind of predictions as to what the show was going to be, and there was talk that these Klingons were going to be of an ancient cast of Klingons that kind of explained why they looked and felt and sounded different.
Yes.
But it turns out actually that these are just the Klingons of this timeline, and well, they're Klingons in name, and what they were saying, you know, honor, and they were talking about Sto-vo-kor, and they were talking about Kahless and stuff, which is great.
Yep.
But they didn't look like Klingons.
No, I mean,
they didn't really act like Klingons all that much.
They looked and felt. They looked more like Next Generation Klingon, a little bit subdued. B'Elanna Torres from Voyager.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, you know, a much more darker skinned Klingon.
Yeah.
But, as you say, they weren't acting like Klingons. And if it's 10 years before Kirk, the Klingons in Kirk's timeline do not look anything like that.
No,
come on,
they don't. And like, even if okay, I mean, we'll forget about head ridges and stuff, because that was kind of partly explained in Enterprise. But they're just not stomping around like the Klingons we know and love. And again, I kind of understand that it's a different feel to any of the series, really.
Yes,
but I just think they diverge just a little bit too much. You know,
yeah, I can see that.
I don't know. I was a bit I don't know. They perplexed me a bit, to say the least. I think let's go through some of the characters that we were introduced to. So the main role, Commander Michael Burnham. So it's a woman that has a man's name.
Yeah, I was.
So this is the human character that was raised by Sarek, obviously the father of Spock, ambassador to the Federation. He's kind of been in every Star Trek series, I think, except for Enterprise. I'm sure he was in Voyager at some point.
He may have made a cameo.
I don't know, but. And we're presuming that because this is 10 years before Spock and Kirk, that Michael Burnham, the Sonequa Martin Green character, that she grew up with Spock. There's talk of them having flashbacks to a Spock being a kid, and I just Does it not feel like they're shoehorning that in?
Yeah, it definitely does. Like I said, I don't know how I feel about the Sarek character. He doesn't.
You didn't. I don't think you liked him.
No, I mean, the actor. I was first introduced to the actor in Gotham, and I thought he was very good in that. And again, he acts very well.
Of course, yes, James Fran. He was. Yeah, no, of course. I was trying to think where I remembered him from, and of course,
he's very good, and I really like him. I'm starting to delve deeper into some of his work, but I felt his character was too human.
Yeah, the Sarek we've seen has always in other Star Trek series has always been quite Vulcan.
Yes, very much.
With not with human sensibilities, but a human. What's the word I'm looking for? Kind of empathy, if you like. Yeah. I mean, he's got
human wife.
Yeah, half human son. You know, that type of thing.
Very close to Jean-Luc Picard, as we know from.
Oh yes, absolutely, yeah.
So, I mean, as this is set way before that, way before that,
120 years or something.
Exactly.
You know,
I wouldn't have expected that to come out in him, but I wouldn't say I don't like him.
No, okay,
but I'm not drawn to him. I'm not in love with the idea.
I think he's gonna. I think he's gonna be a character throughout the series that kind of draws you into the history of the character Commander Burnham, and I think that's kind of what that's gonna be his role in this series. So I think we're gonna see more of him. Maybe for the good, maybe for the bad. I don't know. I'm with you on it. I'm on the fence. I'm definitely on the fence. So one of my favourite character was Saru, who is the science officer. This kind of tall, 7 foot odd. He is a kelpin, which I'm pretty sure is a new species. Yeah, there we go. New species created for Discovery.
100%.
He kind of, I described him to you as like he's kind of like a logical, emotional character. So he's the science officer on board what was the ship called? The Sinn. Don't know. I haven't got it. It's not on Wikipedia. God damn it. The Sinnoqua or something like that.
It's definitely a Japanese name.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, Shenzhou. There we go. Sorry, Shenzhou. And he, he's very Spock-esque.
Yeah, 100%.
But also he's quite emotional.
Yes. So yeah. I mean, I can agree with the comment. He is very, very logical. He's also quite impulsive.
Yes. Yeah. No. Definitely impulsive for sure. Yes.
As we saw in the last sort of no spoilers scenes, he's very quick at the pressing of that button. I mean, I like him. I mean, I wasn't drawn to him initially. I was very much why have we got an alien on board when Next Generation original series didn't
have. Well, that was well, this is the thing, like, because we have to think that, like, this has got apparently a budget of $8 to $8.5 million per episode, so they've got the money to go crazy with prosthetics and CG and all of that. So I think we're probably going to see more. Didn't they have like a little robot character on the bridge as well?
I was going to say they did allude to an android of some. I say android quite loosely.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed quite tied in with the ship. So that it could be something that each ship has. Yeah. That when they moved on to Kirk, they decided this isn't really going to work. That's true.
But it seemed to have its own personality. There was a moment where the Klingon decloaked. Yeah. And it kind of went like, "Oh dear," or I can't remember what it said. It was weird.
Yeah, but I mean, there are a lot of I say characters. There were a lot of characters that they were kind of alluding to, but didn't say anything about them. So obviously the little robot. There's the gent obviously making the comms with a headband of some sort.
Oh yeah. I wonder if that is that. I was wondering if he was human, and then that was some sort of kind of the Uhura earpiece comms offer type thing.
Maybe 10 years time they work out that phones get smaller.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. I was quite disappointed. There were no Tellarites and there were no Andorians. I don't think we saw a single one. I mean, I could be wrong. Perhaps I'll have to go back and see it in some of the crew shots.
Background stuff.
But you would have thought, I know it's 100 years after the foundation of the Federation and Starfleet, but even in the original series, the 4 main alien races were Vulcans, Tellarites, Andorians, and humans that you saw. And we didn't see any of those, which was a bit... It's a bit disappointing, you know. I don't know, but again, it's
new and it's 2 episodes in.
I know exactly, so I don't want to, you know. Let's talk about let's go into the episodes themselves and kind of talk about, because that's kind of what I would like this. What we're kind of thinking this series is going to be.
Okay.
Is we're going to talk about every episode as it comes out. We'll do step by step. I think there's 8 this year. Then they're going to take a break for Christmas, and then they'll be back in the spring or whenever it is. So 16 episodes in total. So the first episode and the first 2 are kind of like a film. They're 2 separate episodes. But so the first episode is called The Vulcan Hello, and it kind of it starts with the Shenzhou kind of investigating an object that's been a Federation kind of telescope or like a satellite.
Communication.
That's it. Yeah, that's been damaged, and they're not sure why.
Yeah.
And they go and investigate, and then it kind of leads to them discovering Klingons.
Yeah, discovering the artifact.
Yeah, that's it. So they haven't seen Klingons for about 100 years.
Yep.
So presumably, after the events of Enterprise, the Klingons kind of cut off all contact with Earth.
Would make sense,
Which would make sense, considering that it was the humans that introduced this virus that kind of just it was there purely to explain why the Klingons in the original series didn't have ridges, but we'll skip over that. And then it kind of devolves into this Klingon ship appearing, and then are they going to attack? Are they not going to attack? And then that kind of cuts out to the episode, and there's lots of talking with the crew members and all sorts of things. So I liked the opening, the before the credit sequence when you had the commander and the captain on the desert.
Oh yes.
I thought that was very cool, actually.
Yeah, I mean they had a strong banter going on.
Tell they were good friends.
Yeah, I mean as. You know, you kind of see that they've been together a long time. You know, even though, as I alluded to, 7 years serving together, they've still got that kind of like, you know, are you taking us the right way?
Yeah,
you know,
that's it. Yeah,
that friendly jab. You know, it was very good. I quite liked that. Again, sticking to, although they called it, I think it said Order 1. I guess they're referring to the
Prime Directive.
No, we can get in there, fix it. I believe returning a water supply to a civilization.
Yeah. Which they do by shooting the well.
Yeah, because you know, very Americanism. Then it works.
That's it. Yeah.
But
did you notice? I quite liked the phase rifle had like the little gold insignia on.
Starfleet insignia on the front of it. Yeah, that was good. I don't know if you picked up on it, but all throughout that first initial sequence, there were the species of that planet, I assume, sort of watching down, keeping an eye on.
Yeah.
That feels very much like the original series and Next Generation-esque.
Yes, for sure.
Although they're trying to be very sneaky, nah, they're not.
No.
Yeah, but it was very good. I liked she's very much... Although she's human, I refer to Michael.
Yeah,
she's still got a lot of Vulcan mannerisms.
Which I quite liked that, because it wasn't quite Spock, where it was every now and then he'd crack a smile. She was always a human, but had Vulcan mannerisms.
Yeah. So you know, how long do you predict the storm's going to hit? In just an hour and 17 minutes.
Yes,
so that's very specific.
That's right.
Having been on weather report there.
And then my estimations were perhaps incorrect.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, very much a human at heart, but a Vulcan in mind.
Yes. Yeah.
Which I quite liked.
And then, what did we think to them being lost on the planet, and then the captain being able to cool down the ship by drawing a huge Starfleet insignia in the sand?
Yeah, it was a very, as we both did, it was a very, this is pretty cool moment.
Yeah.
But it's also that's a giant, desert there. What references are you using to draw that?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
But very good scene. Ignoring the technical details from it.
Sure.
But yeah.
And then that led us right into the title sequence. So what did you think to the title sequence?
Anything's better than Enterprise.
Well, okay, I wholeheartedly agree. Although I in Enterprise, while I detested the theme tune, I did like the whole we're on a boat and now we're in the air and now we're in space and then we've got the flying off. Whereas this was like it's like schematics.
Yeah.
Of all the stuff they use, and then they get deconstructed.
Yeah, you're right. Enterprise, as much as a lot of Star Trek fans like to berate that one, it was a very good intro if you mute it.
Yeah.
It makes sense. It's a chronological thing. I quite liked that was in a lot of the other series as well. They showed each step of the Enterprise, from ship to the first sort of spacecraft. This intro, the music was, as I say, it's the only thing that I did any sort of research into.
Yeah. Well, so what did you think to the theme? It's
very good.
Yeah.
I liked the orchestral. I liked the fact that it hints back to the original series.
You get the first kind of 10 seconds are very original series, aren't they? And then
right at the end.
And then
it's very much. By the way, this is Star Trek. This is right before the original series. Bam.
Yeah, it was. I think I don't like it as much as I want to like it at the moment, but I think it might be something that will grow on me. I definitely won't be skipping the intro. I won't be hitting that skip intro button on Netflix when it comes up. I think it'll be something that I want to listen to.
Yeah. I like an intro, but I can see myself, as much as I like it, I probably will end up skipping it.
Okay, sure.
Unless they're going to do, a lot of Netflix series, they change up the intro sort of halfway through.
I hope they don't with this, because it's Star Trek.
Well, yeah,
and what's the only time that they've changed the intro on Star Trek is Deep Space Nine, isn't it?
Yeah.
When they changed it to have the Defiant flying around the space station and all of that. I don't think they've changed it on any of those. Oh, they changed it once for the Enterprise Mirror Universe episodes, didn't they? They had a completely different intro.
I think maybe a couple of episodes in they changed the original series.
Oh, really?
I think so. I might be wrong.
Okay.
Everyone makes mistakes sometimes, but
I
might be wrong.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, so we're on the ship and they're investigating this probe, and Michael Burnham decides that she's going to fly out in an EVA suit to investigate this artifact.
Yeah.
So this is the moment where I was like, this looks really good. Yeah. Because you can tell that $8.5 million budget is going on stuff
at that particular scene.
Yeah, and she comes out onto the ship, and they're by a binary star system, aren't they? So you've got the two suns, and it's all very. I mean, it looks
phenomenal.
Looks incredible.
It's desktop background style.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, for sure. Good. 4K, right there.
100%.
And then the heads-up display comes onto her EVA suit.
Yeah.
And then suddenly we're in Abrams' universe again.
Yeah, and obviously, as I've pointed out, the computer is very much responsive to almost everything. Is everything working? Yes.
Yeah.
Is it time to go? Yes.
It's more responsive than it is in Generation DS9 and Voyager.
Yeah, I mean, it does feel like it's like a next gen computer system. As I said when we were watching the start of the second episode, the original series did have computers that talked back.
Yes.
But it was all very much robotic voice.
Yeah.
Yes, no, here's your answer. Whereas this one feels like AI. It feels...
that's exactly it. It does. You're right. Yes.
You know,
well, there's a moment in the second episode that we'll talk about when she's in the brig, but we'll come to that because it's quite interesting.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So Burnham flies up to this Klingon artifact, which is it's spoilers for everything I suppose here, but it turns out that it's full of coffins, and it's
that was the ship.
Was that the ship? Was that not where she was?
No.
She was just looking at something that looked carved or something. The
artifact was the beacon.
Right.
That's obviously when it splayed out.
Okay. All right. Good. I'm glad someone was because I thought that was okay. All right.
The ship was the ship reminded me very much of of a completely different series and universe of some of the Star Wars ships.
Yeah, the ship
hammerhead sort of thing.
Yeah, you could, but it was like I want to say like I don't know my Klingon ships very well, but like a Kevlar or something, or is something like that. But it wasn't
a warbird.
No, it wasn't. And in fact, we only kind of saw one glimpse in the battle of what could have been a warbird, but
a bit of a boomerang flying around. But
that's what it looked a bit like.
Yeah.
But when she gets to this, the artifact, the beacon, and suddenly she turns around and there's a Klingon in an EVA suit
as well with what looks like a bat'leth, but it's not a bat'leth.
It's more like a
stick.
A stick with two blades at the end.
Yeah.
And her heads up display is
looking for stuff.
Is blinging around, like identifies the Klingon emblem.
Yeah.
Identifies the bat'leth. You know.
Which, mate, if it's been 100 years, how does it know? You know, don't get me wrong.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm fairly sure if you're set on your logo, you're not going to change that. So,
well, this is the Star Trek universe, though. That's
Well, yes, the Klingon emblem's not going to have changed over 100 years, but bat'leths probably would have.
And it didn't look. And again, I mean I know it's like and the generation timeline.
Yeah.
Is set what this is probably 140 years after this, 130 years so. But that did not look like a bat'leth.
No, not at all. Although leaping again, we're going from after Archer before Kirk, and now we're jumping all the way to Cisco, and we're referring to.
I maybe I'm being too harsh, perhaps. Maybe I am. I don't know. But the bat'leth, I'm sure Worf describes as an ancient Klingon weapon.
Yeah.
It's not going to have changed the design,
no,
you know.
I mean, Kalas is his ceremonial bat'leth was a traditional steel bat'leth.
He forged it from his hair in the fires of Stovercore or something, doesn't he?
It does not look anything like the one that was in this particular episode. And as we say, it's a stick with two blades on the end.
And then we are. This is the bit this is just coming to my head. But she then, Commander Burnham, then burns on her thrusters.
Yep.
And just bumps into the Klingon, and the Klingon stabs himself with the bat'leth.
Yeah, I mean,
what?
It's a sharp blade. It's a very and it's a very accurate, brutal weapon. But he's wearing armor.
That's just not going to happen. He's a Klingon warrior.
And it's horizontal. Although he did take a swing at us, swinging just at the time.
I don't know. But anyway, she then gets knocked unconscious. She's
hurtling through space.
That's right, and the crew. This is when we kind of see them lots on the bridge, and they're moving about, and they're playing with the stuff. And I love the bridge. The look of on the Shenzhou. That it felt enough removed from Enterprise and almost at Kirk.
Yeah.
Like it was more spacious. But there were still people standing.
The right layout.
That's right, yeah. What it was. We both appreciated that the ops was on the left side instead of as you're looking at it as opposed to the right side. So that was nice. And then it kind of cuts and we have this flashback scene where she's been brought up by Sarek, and she's in the Klingon science academy as a child.
Vulcan Science.
Sorry, Vulcan Science Academy. Sorry, not Klingon Science. I know what I'm talking about. Which, correct me if I'm wrong, but we've only seen in the Abrams timeline.
Yeah, we only really saw that in the Abrams movie.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've got Spock in one of the little domes.
That's right. Yeah. So this really is a mixing of the two, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, it mixes a lot of the universes, a lot of the timelines, and kind of just like smushes them into one, which it could work.
Yeah.
I mean, it worked for this. In this particular kind of case, I mean, I wouldn't expect this to carry on into Kirk and Picard, but
no, this is the thing. I can't.
It doesn't feel like it should, but for this episode or this series, it kind of feels right. They've got it. They've got the mix of the old and the new.
Yeah. Okay.
Kind of, it's forgivable.
Sure. Now let's spin forward a little bit. We can come back and talk about holograms in a minute. But let's talk about the mutiny part. So, after talking to a Sarek, Commander Burnham believes that the best way to deal with the Klingons is to fire first. Yeah. Which, okay, sure. I'm not going to argue with Vulcan logic on that. That's fine. Never argue with a Vulcan. Never have a logic argument with a Vulcan. But she decides, as a Starfleet first officer, to not only Vulcan nerve grip her captain, but to then relieve the science officer and just go full
metal jacket. It's just
and target the Klingons with everything they've got, putting torpedoes in the tube. I mean, I just, no matter how Vulcan you are, you're still, I don't know. It's that's not very Star Trek-y.
No, I mean, so immediately I'm picking up on not problems, but inconsistencies with its own kind of laid out rules they've made. Well, not rules, but kind of personality traits they've made.
Yeah, sure.
So as we said, the Klingons don't feel like traditional Klingons. So there's scenes further on, or even before, where you've got the brother of the torchbearer that we've just found out that Michael's killed on the artifact. He's not too keen on carrying on that tradition, and we get the no name from the background coming in, and they talk it out. Klingons don't.
They don't know. The albino Klingon should have. I mean, he put his hand in some fire to show that he was a Klingon, but
that's it.
He would have taken out a knife and challenged him to to a battle to the death or something.
I'm taking your position. It's not a let's talk this over. So they're kind of like we're gonna shoot first kind of thing. Original Klingons, next generation Klingons, that would make sense to me because they're very much a warrior race.
Sure.
Whereas these ones kind of feel like we've been left out. We don't feel like we're connected anymore.
I'm just not really sure. Yeah, what's happening? Who they are?
What are these Klingons?
They're definitely not the Klingons that we know, that we've known from Enterprise, that we know from Kirk. Definitely not from TOS, and definitely not from the Generation timeline at all.
No, definitely not.
I'm not sure. So basically, the Klingons go to they call the banners.
Yeah, they do.
They call 24 ships of the 24 houses.
Indeed, yeah.
To turn up. Starfleet reinforcements arrive as well. The Klingons do more talking.
Yeah, they do.
The Klingon, what's his name? Tukuvma.
Yeah. The Unforgettable.
That's right. Yeah, he actually is called the Unforgettable, isn't he? Yeah. He's trying to rouse the Klingons to become more Klingon-like.
It wasn't working.
No, and then they decide to open fire.
Yeah, for not no reason, but just that was it.
And I feel like the show didn't really show us the battle.
No, it was just kind of like space view, pew pew pew.
Yeah.
Now we're on the ship.
Classic phases though, which I appreciated.
Blue and green.
Yeah, and also they weren't in like continuous streams. They were proper
original series style.
Yeah, which that's right, which I liked. And then suddenly, and then the Admiral kind of goes, right, so let's talk about holograms.
Yeah.
So the way that they communicate, they did have some view screen activity.
Yeah, they did. They definitely had a view screen.
But on both bridges, both the Klingons and the Starfleet vessels, they had holograms.
Compatible
holograms, and the Starfleet hologram
was walking about.
Could walk around in the bridge.
And he was turning around to to pick people up. It's we've mentioned many a time at this point how the technology doesn't line up with either series. So the fact that there are now holograms, I mean, the first kind of sign of holograms was a couple of bits in the Next Generation.
Deep Space Nine, they experimented with it a little bit,
and definitely Voyager was, the
sure.
only Doctor on board was the hologram.
Yeah,
but this one's not quite the Doctor level. It's still see-through, a bit fuzzy. But
I appreciated it. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, definitely.
But it wasn't. It's not. It had no place being in a timeline set 10 years before Kirk.
Yeah,
basically. Yeah. But anyway, so they do the classic. We're the Federation. We're Starfleet. Let's talk it out.
Yeah,
he even says if we're shooting each other, we're not talking to each other, which is okay. Sure, yeah. I'll let you get away with that.
Very much a playground mediator at that point.
Absolutely. And then the Klingons just decloak a ship into the Admiral's ship.
Kind of like, we'll sit and talk, but
we're just going to ram you instead.
Anyway. And that was good. I mean, he did the whole, sacrifice his ship for the greater good to blow up nothing, really.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything, which... It leads on to the second episode, so I won't really go into it in too much detail. But it doesn't kind of like make much sense. A whole starship blowing up.
But the thing is about this, the whole 2 episodes is that there was nothing. I didn't really feel like lots happened, but it didn't feel like lots happened.
No,
it was. Yeah, it was very character orientated, which is.
Yeah, it makes sense for a first episode because obviously they're introducing a lot of characters. Well, I say a lot of characters. They introduced 3.
We've seen 3 main characters.
One of whom is spoiler alert.
The captain dies. Yeah, that's right. So the Klingons are doing something that we've never seen before. To be fair, we've never really seen. We've seen crew members in various forms and guises being blown out of a ship.
Yeah.
But we've never seen the bodies being collected.
No, that's a bit weird.
So the Klingons decide that they've blown up the Admiral's ship. The Federation fleet is destroyed or incapacitated. Yeah. So we're going to pick up all the dead bodies, which is, I think, probably quite a Klingon thing to do to get the bodies and to send them to Sto-vo-Kor properly. And they decide that the Shinzu and the crew decide that they're going to transport the core, the bomb part of a torpedo, onto one of these bodies
to do some damage.
Because they're going to go and capture, I can't remember his name, Tukuvma.
Yeah.
Tukuvma.
This bomb does more damage than a whole ship blowing up. I'd like to point that out.
It does.
It knocks the front of the ship off. I mean, shields might have been down, so they can transport them aboard. Maybe.
Why didn't they just if they're tractor beaming them in? They play fast and loose with the Star Trek science, don't they? Really,
yeah.
I don't know. Then the commander and the captain then transport over, wearing body armor,
Yeah.
Presumably tactical body armor.
But like, NYC, New York cop sort of.
It really is, isn't it?
Didn't do much good.
No.
She wore it at least.
Yeah.
Which, they didn't have in the original series at all.
No, not at all. No.
Because let's face it, if Kirk had body armor, he wouldn't have ripped those tunics half.
No, that's true. I like it. So, we haven't talked about this. What do we think of the uniforms? So, a mix between the jumpsuit of Enterprise and the
colours of the Next Generation.
Yeah.
It wasn't quite as, hey, I'm a red shirt, I'm a yellow shirt. It was a little more subdued. It was just the stripes down one side.
Yes.
Both sides. But quite a subdued thing. I quite liked it. I mean,
they were quite formal, very
minimalistic.
Yes, absolutely, and they were quite Admiralty, like we're on a ship type things. They almost had quite large shoulder pads, didn't they? In some respects, and they were
definitely.
I like the fact they kept the colours from Enterprise and TOS. They haven't gone red for Command yet. They're stuck with gold for Command, which is nice. And blue for Science always. We haven't seen engineering. We haven't seen any engineers yet.
No, they didn't show much of the red, which, as a die-hard engineering fan, it's...
Well, no, and no red shirts at all. Nothing.
And so many people died. So
yeah, that's it. Even the operations officer that gets hit, he was
blown up. He was still alive.
He was running
into the brig, which kind of segues nicely into.
Oh yes, before I forget. Sorry, before they transport over to the Klingons, we need to talk about this. So Commander Burnham is in the bridge. Is in the brig. Sorry, and she for mutiny. And she wants to get out to help the crew.
Yeah.
So she engages in an ethical... Oh, she tries to out-logic the computer.
Yeah. Usually, it kind of like doubles it back on the whole, how is this computer not carried on further into the Next Generation series? Because
so she goes, you need to release me, otherwise I'm going to die. Yeah. And then the computer goes, engaging ethical subroutines.
Denied.
Yeah.
You're not going to die.
And then she out-logics her, the computer. Yeah. So Commander Burnham out-logics the computer by saying, if the force field's going to go down, then I'm going to die, so you've got to do this, and then I've got to do that, and then you've got to do this. Am I right?
It's like, yeah, you're right.
And when the computer literally goes... Yes, it
kind of thinks, hang on,
you're having a conversation.
Humans just beating a computer.
Yeah, and then she goes, do this, compute or something like that.
Yeah,
and then there's a
pause for a moment,
like and a working, and then something like you're correct, or and then she manages to persuade the computer through I think the computer goes, ethical subroutine engaged or something like that, and then quite a cool joke like chance of survival is 44%. She's like, I'll take it, and it was quite a cool moment.
Yeah, it was a good moment.
It was a bit of a Data from Nemesis moment, kind of the through the space.
Yeah, kind of like you can have to release a meter-wide gap in the force field. That'll suck me through.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
You won't be able to open the door. Then you'll have to open it for me.
You'll have to open them for me, otherwise I'll die. And the computer's like, okay.
Touche.
Yeah.
It's a bit like
If this is 140 years, it's not quite that. It's 120 years probably before Generations. Star Trek the Next Generation. I mean, by the time we get to Voyager with networking on the ship, you're going to have an artificial intelligence flying the ship. You
have got the Doctor on Voyager, which he has obviously the combined medical knowledge of millions of species.
But the Doctor's character is the culmination of Dr. Zimmerman's work.
Yeah. It's a human's work.
And it's 120 years in the future. This is before Kirk, and you've got a computer having an ethical conversation with a half Vulcan type character.
It sounds vastly more human than obviously Gene Roddenberry's.
Oh, there's no. Yeah, we should say that the voice of the computer is not Majel Barrett, which I understand why, because obviously she's passed away now. And before she died, she went and I don't know if do you know this. She recorded a whole load of a bit like the person that voices Siri.
Yeah.
So they got her to record like 10,000 words. Okay, so every time, or if they ever did make a film, they could get her to be the voice of the computer, because she was the voice of the computer in every single Star Trek series.
Yeah, apart from Enterprise, am I right?
I don't think there was a computer voice in Enterprise. Was there?
Exactly.
Well, there you go. But this is I don't know who the actress is. It doesn't actually say on the wiki page here, but this isn't.
It's not the same.
It is very Majel Barrett. I mean, it's a female voice.
Oh yeah, but
it's quite staccato.
It's very human.
But it is very human. You're right. It is.
So, yeah, the voice on the original series was very much, I say it's working. This one's more like, yeah, we'll work that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll work.
That's it.
No, she's like having a chat with a friend. That's the problem.
No, that is. You're right. It is exactly that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, so anyway, she escapes. They're on the Klingon ship.
Fly through.
The captain has a fight with the Klingon with Tukuvma.
The lead Klingon.
He has the smaller Batleth, the one that was favoured by Worf in Deep Space Nine, and I'm sure it's called a Catleth or a Kaleth or.
If we've got the Wikipedia there, we can.
I'm sure I've got to find it though. That's the problem. But it looked very much like that. That was good.
Would agree. Yeah.
And he wasn't fighting with a Batleth, which was, I mean, he would have destroyed the captain straight away, I think, had he used that. But but Captain Burnham, she gets stabbed, the captain gets shot, and then Commander Burnham flicks her phaser, very like the Enterprise, so it flicks from blue to red, and she just shoots him in the back.
Yeah.
No vaporizing though.
No, it doesn't die instantly, but it did peel a little bit.
Yeah, it kind of vaporized through his armour, didn't it?
Yeah,
and
which I thought was quite cool, because I was expecting the whole,
it was.
Screams in pain, falls back.
Yeah,
he didn't.
It was very much like a ball of energy, like just burning through the.
I mean, there wasn't even confirmation that he died. Without spoiling anything.
Well, don't worry about spoilers. This is, if you're listening to this, you're definitely spoiled. So yeah, basically, so then they beam back to the ship.
She's kind of like pulled away from the
That's
ship.
right. Oh yeah, no, she wants to try and save the captain. She's like, don't transport me without the captain's body.
Yeah.
Her good friend, the captain.
Yeah.
And then the science officer, I forget his name now, Saru.
It's kind of like, well, she's dead, you're in danger, let's go.
Yeah, literally. And it's kind of like, which I thought was played really well to his character.
Oh yeah, very, very Vulcan, very logical. Although he's not a Vulcan species.
No.
He alludes that his species is bred specifically for one purpose, and that's
which is to sense death.
Yeah.
Which he literally says that, which was.
I'm your species' ancient form of cattle.
They were hunted as prey on their home planet, and thus evolved the ability to sense the coming of death.
Which,
it's very existential, isn't it?
Yeah, very. Yeah, and he kind of looks her in the face when he says it.
Yes.
It's kind of like, I sense death, and it's coming.
That's right.
I'm looking at you.
It's like something. It's like something that an alien guest star might say on a Next Generation episode or a Voyager episode or something, isn't it?
Very much. We detect death. We can see it's coming.
Now, I might have missed something at this stage, but they beamed back to the ship.
Yeah, they did.
She cried out in agony.
She did,
because she couldn't save the captain's body, and then the next shot was the escape pods.
Yeah.
And the ship, and them abandoning ship.
Yeah, and then we get obviously the spiel of how do you plead to the charges.
But did they have to abandon ship? Was there any mention of?
No.
Are they waiting? I mean, the Klingons are still there, but their ship's crippled and their commander's dead.
We assume dead.
Well, yeah. I mean, he had the moment with his albino.
Yeah. Who again's got the? I believe that's going to be like a trait. He's now got the scar on his eye.
I saw that.
When Michael and the albino are having a scuffle whilst the captain and
that's right. Yeah.
Tuvaki, whatever his name is having the
Tukuvma.
A
very Klingon name, Tukuvma.
Much more Klingon than Worf.
Yeah, no, that's it. Yeah.
They're having their scuffle, and he's squeezing her head, and then she just kind of cuts his eye with her hand.
Yeah, it was.
I feel that's going to be. It's going to be a trait throughout the forthcoming. Yeah, episode.
It's going to be like he's going to be the nemesis. The nemesis.
He may end up becoming like a caretaker of the lead.
I think he's or possibly leads the war.
Yeah,
Vok is his name. Yeah. Vok, House of None.
House of None.
Yeah.
They made a lot of references to the Empire, so I believe now they're going to.
Well, I think the whole point of Takuvma's idea was to
bring all the families together.
That's right, to unite the Empire in a common goal.
Kind of like a Godfather.
That's right, which was to obviously go to war with the Federation. Which
well, we never got the impression of go to war. It was more of a. It's kind of like stay away from the species.
Just
we come in peace.
That's it. Just
individuality.
That's right. Be Klingon.
Yeah.
That's what he was talking about. This is what the Klingons. We don't stand around doing nothing. We fight and we battle and we war. We are warriors.
Although there was very little Klingon fighting.
Yeah. Well. That's it. Yeah. Well, there was even the Klingon that disagreed with Takuvma was like, I will not listen to this, and then just disappeared.
Yeah, kind of like turned off.
Where was the I'll disappear off the view screen and then shoot a torpedo at your ship?
Yeah, because all the ships were present.
That's what the Klingons would do. Then what would happen is the Starfleet vessels would then watch all. I thought that was what was going to happen.
Yeah,
is the Klingons were going to start shooting each other, but I don't know. Anyway. So the ship blows up. They all escape.
Yeah.
We see the end of the Shenzhou, although we don't see it destroyed, but it's crippled in space. And then we have a very, I want to say very dark scene is the only way I can describe it, where
no lights.
It's the court-martial of Commander Burnham because she caused the mutiny. And the three, presumably admirals, although we can't see them.
Can't see their faces. I was hoping for an archer. Well, although you say it's like 100 years or so.
Yeah, well,
different.
That actually, I hadn't even thought about that. That would have been cool. But but their faces were disguised.
Yeah.
It was very much, we're the Dark Council and we're just sentencing you. It was a really odd choice because that's not what the Federation is. Starfleet it would be bright and there'd be an audience because that's what normally there is.
And I feel like it would have been okay. Yes, you had a mutiny. You kind of went against your captain. You attacked a superior officer, but in the grand scheme of things, you kind of saved the rest of your crew. So
it was very Star Trek like for her to be sentenced to life in prison.
I was expecting, strip your rank, back down to an ensign. If we have ensign, we haven't, heard any ranks yet.
I think. Oh no, I think we have. I think we did have ensign,
commander, captain, and I think it was lieutenant at one point.
Maybe. I'm sure we had an ensign. I'm sure the operations officer, when he stumbled into the brig, she was like ensign.
Oh yes.
I'm sure he was. Yeah.
So that would have made more sense, especially as she's meant to be a main character.
Well, this is what I mean. So presumably, the next. So that was the end of the 2 episodes. Okay. So
we're at the end of that.
My prediction is that the next episode will be 10 years later, maybe, and maybe it can't be 10 years. I mean, I don't know. There'll be a jump in time, and the Jason Isaac character who's playing the captain in the series, who we haven't even seen yet. His name is Gabriel Lorca, according to Wikipedia, but we haven't seen him. Mm-hmm. A brilliant military tactician. So there you go. He's obviously going to be involved, and he's the captain of the Discovery. But
doesn't sound like a warship.
We haven't seen it. Well, apparently the Discovery is a science ship. So
you've got a tactician. On a such.
Well, we don't. I mean, we don't know. But presumably, he's going to come to the place where Burnham is being held, very Janeway,
we're gonna have a Janeway,
Tom Paris-esque, and be like, "I need your help for something. I can get you out
for this one mission. Somehow we're thrown into the Delta Quadrant.
Yes. We discover a wormhole to somewhere, I don't know. But we just don't know.
No.
And this is it. So the next episode is called Context is for Kings. And the episode after that is called The Butcher's Knife Cares Not for the Lamb's Cry. So...
These are very in-depth names.
Whereas the first 2 episodes were called The Vulcan Hello and Battle at the Binary Stars.
So Battle at the Binary Stars sounds very much like,
Encounter at Farpoint.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
It kind of makes
yes.
sense.
Yeah.
The Vulcan Hello. But it's short and sweet. Now the way you mentioned we're getting the new captain, it feels very much like the original series. Because obviously the first pilot episode...
Of course, we lose Pike, don't we? Yeah.
Well, we don't lose him as such. Well, we do lose him. We have Pike for a single episode.
Yes.
To then the next episode we have Captain Kirk.
But that's it. But we haven't met.
We haven't met
any of the crew. Presumably, the Saru's character is going to come back as the science officer.
Oh yeah, one would hope.
I mean, absolutely. But I mean, I'm looking down here. There's a chief medical officer. There's a security officer, and obviously we've got the second in command. We've got the captain. None of these characters we've seen yet in the first hour and a half of 16 hours of new Star Trek.
Yeah,
which I just don't know how I feel about that.
I mean, I remember quite well the first Star Trek new universe film came out.
This is Star Trek Abrams.
Yes, Star Trek Abrams.
Yeah.
So it's cast your mind back. It's 2014, I think.
No. 2006, 2007, I think. Star Trek.
You're quite right.
I'm gonna have a quick. But you just riff. I'm just gonna look it up.
I'm thinking. I'm thinking Into Darkness.
You are, yes, yeah.
Although it wasn't 2014 either. I remember telling a lot of my fellow Star Trek.
2009 it was.
Okay.
Into Darkness was 2013, and then Beyond was 16.
I was only a year out, so it's not bad.
No, not bad.
So I remember thinking, and I remember telling a lot of my Star Trek comrades that I was considering it not part of the Star Trek universe. It was a completely separate film.
Yes, a reboot.
Yeah,
a proper reboot.
I thought, you know what, the rest of the series don't exist. I'm watching this with a fresh mind. I've never seen Star Trek before. What will this do?
Yeah.
And it was good. As a film, it's very good. As a
I love the new Star Treks. I absolutely adore them.
As a continuation or a prequel or an alternate universe, didn't work.
I quite like what they did with that. I mean, maybe that's another episode perhaps to talk about. But go on.
It kind of took Kirk and stepped him back a little bit.
Yes, yeah.
It kind of gave you a view of what Kirk was like before the first kind of like Pike and Kirk episodes. So I'm kind of in the same boat at the moment. I didn't do any research into this other than the first theme tune. I listened to that on the internet. I thought it sounds great. Even my partner, who doesn't like Star Trek as much as say we do, she agreed that the theme tune was very good. It's very Star Trek-esque. I'm thinking if this is a separate entity, it's very good so far.
I completely agree. If you take this as another take on Star Trek,
yes,
it is Star Trek, but it's somebody else's vision. It's not Roddenberry, because it's not.
I mean, as we were very happy to see, it's actually co-produced.
By Eugene Roddenberry, who I presume is his son.
Yeah, I believe it is. Which is awesome.
Very very cool.
He also produced or helped create some of the fan fiction of Star Trek, some of the Star Trek Continues stuff.
Okay, he is the son of Star Trek creator Gene Roddenberry and Major Barrow,
which is very awesome. Cool, very cool.
Yeah, but it's not. I don't know. I have very high hopes for the series.
Yes,
I'm. It's good Trek.
Yeah,
it's not Trek that you know and love.
No.
But it is good Trek.
It's Trek you could learn to know and love.
For sure, absolutely.
I wouldn't.
We know that there's going to be a mirror universe episode, which I'm quite excited about, particularly because it's directed. Oh, actually, is that episode directed by Jonathan Frakes? I don't know, but there is an episode going to be directed by Jonathan Frakes, which will probably be my favourite episode, without a shadow of a doubt.
I do like a bit of Jonathan Frakes.
I am looking forward to that. He
made a very good cameo. Well, I say very good. He made a cameo in Enterprise at the end.
I can't talk about Enterprise because it will make me angry, particularly that final episode. But
it was a bit weird, but he was in it.
So okay, to sum up then, and what we, as I say, what I said at the beginning is we'll be doing this every week. We'll be going over every episode, breaking it down, exploring the universe and what we think to it and everything like that in great nerdy detail because that's what we do.
It is indeed.
Can you sum up? You kind of already have, I suppose, but you're excited? You liked it? You enjoyed it?
Yeah, I mean, I liked it and I enjoyed it. I'm definitely excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, okay.
The first episode was of it. I knew it was going to be a kind of like, this is where we're going. A couple of characters, maybe. It worked.
Yeah, I think that's it. For me, it didn't blow my socks off, which I'm a little disappointed with, but I'm not surprised about because I knew it was either going to be, oh my gosh, this is amazing, or yeah, okay, I kind of quite like this. We'll see where it goes. I was never not going to like it. I don't think.
No, I agree.
Unless they just remade Enterprise, but I don't know. So yeah, it's got real promise.
Definitely.
Excellent.
Definitely.
Good. Well, that was our first episode on the new Star Trek Discovery series, going over the series as a whole. And the first two episodes, The Vulcan Hello and Battle at the Binary Stars. We'll be back next week to discuss the next episode, the third episode, Context is for Kings, which goodness knows what that's going to be about. If you're listening to this on iTunes, then it would be fantastic if you could give us a little rating and leave a little review. If you do, I will definitely read it out for you. And if you're listening to this on the YouTubes, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And if you like what we're talking about, myself and a couple of other people have a podcast that we release every Monday called the Geekstation Podcast. This week we were talking about the Kingsman Golden Circle. Have you seen Kingsman Golden Circle?
Very much intend to.
Good. It's well, we had thoughts. You should listen to our podcast and
I certainly will.
But listen to it after you've seen it because we spoil the hell out of it. But
I've only just seen the original.
Oh, okay.
First one, so,
brilliant. It is very good. Definitely very enjoyable. You can find me on Twitter at Mr. Sinny. Ping me a tweet, say hello, tell me what you thought of Star Trek Enterprise. Star Trek. Geez, no, don't tell me what you thought of Star Trek Enterprise.
It'll never end.
No, tell me what you think of Star Trek Discovery. And yeah, I suppose the only thing to say is it's goodbye from me.
It's a goodbye from me.
Excellent, and we'll see you again next week. Thank you very much.